Hi everyone, welcome. Today I'm going to be telling a story that I first heard from Bill O'Hanlon, who was a student of the legendary Milton Erickson. The story is called The African Violet Queen. It's a little bit longer than the stories that I usually tell, so I'm going to be telling them um, in two parts, and both parts will be posted at the same time. So there was a colleague of Milton Erickson's who asked him for a favor. He said his favorite aunt was severely depressed, and he was really worried about her. She had inherited her family's mansion and a great deal of money, and lived alone with servants. He knew that Erickson would be speaking in Milwaukee, where his aunt lived, and he asked Erickson if he would see her when he was there. And Erickson loved this kind of a challenge, and so he said he would go. When he got there, he rang the bell, and the aunt answered the door in a wheelchair. She had been expecting him. She offered Erickson a tour of the house, and Erickson was struck how isolated she was with only a few servants in this huge, huge house. Everything looked very depressing and dark and gloomy. As they walked around, she told Erickson that she had been very active in her church community, but she wasn't active so much anymore. At the end of the tour, they came to a greenhouse that was attached to the house, and it was her pride and joy. Erickson saw a room filled with light and beautiful plants. He pointed to a potting table. There were 3 plants with tiny cuttings, and Erickson asked, "What were they?" "They're African violets," she said. "I transplanted them, and they're just getting established." Erickson said, "It's really, really hard to transplant an African violet. You must have a green thumb." She said that she did, and that was something she was very proud of. Erickson said that your nephew is very, very worried about you. "I know," she said. "He thinks that you're very depressed." "Well, I have been lately," she said. Erickson says, "Now that I met you and looked around, I don't think the main problem is depression." "You don't?" she said. This is the end of part 1. See you at part 2.